Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are live. Today is September 1st, 2015. My name's Rex Harris, and as always, it's an honor and a privilege to be able to spend some time with you here this evening. Tonight, we're going to talk about how to create a PowerPoint presentation. PowerPoint presentations are a great thing for you to know how to create for a multitude of purposes, training videos, team training, sales presentations. There's all sorts of different things that you can do with these, from screen share videos to even presentations live, like we're going to be doing in Deerfield Beach coming up here in November at our Mastermind of mechanics and technical training here. So hopefully you guys will get some value from all of this and be able to take what I'm going to share with you this evening and begin to implement this into your business. So without further ado, we're going to click screen sharing here, and away we will go. All right. So I'm going to be using OpenOffice 4 to create this presentation. You can do the same basic thing in Microsoft Office for those of you that use that with the actual PowerPoint software. You'll find that both of these are very similar to use, and it's not really so much about the mechanical function of the software that I want to share with you this evening. It's more the processes of creating something that you can use now with just a basic understanding of the software. I think this is one of the areas, excuse me, where a lot of people get hung up, because so many people think that they have to learn the whole thing before they can actually use it to create something they can incorporate into their marketing system in whatever capacity. And that's just not true. You can actually create really cool presentations with this, okay, with a very basic knowledge of the software. All right, and for those of you that don't have a word processor on your computer at home, again, you can actually get what I'm using through openoffice.org. This is a completely free, fully functional Office suite, and I've been using it for years. I can't even remember the last time that I used Microsoft Office. The only Microsoft Office-based software that I still use on one of my laptops is FrontPage. I use that for managing the pages within the Academy. So everything else I do in this. And the one thing I do recommend, though, if you are going to use this, make sure that you have a computer that is functioning properly, because like any large piece of software, it does use some resources. All right, but it's gotten lighter as they've developed it, and you know, I enjoy using it, and I think you guys will enjoy using it too. And you can't beat the price. It's absolutely free of charge, no adware, no anything like that. It's a beautiful piece of software. So again, www.openoffice.org, and you can actually click this link right here and download it, install it, and use it immediately. So let's go into setting up and creating a presentation. All right. And like I said, I'm going to walk you through the basics to a point where you can actually do something productive with this tonight. Okay. I really want to demonstrate the simplicity of getting started and then expanding in your knowledge of the tools as you go, but at least learn them to a level that you can accomplish what it is that you want to get done. It doesn't have to be fancy to be effective. Keep that in mind. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to click presentation, And then I have 3 options here. Now they actually have built-in templates here that you can use, and you can actually open an existing presentation if you've had one created that you want to use. I just use the empty presentation, and I don't do anything other than what's right here. It's got a preview check. I just leave that, and then I click next. All right, now here I can also pick presentation backgrounds. Okay, and I have used this before. I mean, this one here is kind of cool. And you do want to create something that's going to be attractive to those who are seeing it. All right, so you want to remember a couple of things. Number one, choose a background that's not going to be like loud or harsh on the eyes if you're going to use a background. And number two, use something that is going to make the text jump out on the page. A lot of times, if you choose a background that's dark, a lot of times what people try to do is use letters that are too dark there. If you're going to use a dark background, and as far as your fonts and stuff like that are concerned, you're going to want to go to the other side of the color spectrum there to really make those pop. Okay, unless you have an intention for blending text in with your background for whatever reason that would be, you want to make sure that stuff it pops, it's readable, it's easy on people's eyes. All right, and this is the cool thing about PowerPoint presentations is you don't have to jam pack a whole lot of information onto one page. It's not like building a PDF. It's more like, creating a slideshow, I guess, is probably the modern equivalent of what it is that we're doing here. Okay, so choose a background if you want to use a background, and you'll see as you just look at these, you'll be able to tell, which one you might say. You look at that and say, ooh. And remember, if anything doesn't look good to your eye, chances are it's not going to look good to somebody else's eye either. Now, see, I kind of like that. That looks good. All right. It's warm. It's easy on the eyes. It's blue. I like blue. All right. So I'll click next. And then here I have basically the presentation wizard, which gives me the ability to control the effects of basically the pages as they turn within my presentation. Okay, I don't have to do anything with this. Okay, I can do a couple of things here, and I have this ability to do this with a lot of the video software that I do too, where instead of just flipping a page, you can actually get like a gradient swipe or make it look like it's turning a page or something like that. So just so you can see how this works, we'll just choose one of these here. We'll just say wipe left. See how that works there? All right, and it'll preview the effect here, so you can actually see what it's going to look like within the presentation, which is kind of cool. Okay, and these are simple things that you can do to really kind of step up the professionalism and give people something that's, entertaining to watch, So I'll choose this one here, Venetian, So all sorts of different cool stuff that you can choose from. So I will choose with the wipe left, and here I can adjust the speed of how fast that moves across the screen. And then here I have some more advanced settings here. But again, as you're going to see here tonight, you don't need to know a lot of the different advanced stuff yet in order to get something done. Okay. So once I've chosen what I want here, my next option is create. So I click create, and this opens my workshop, so to speak, for this particular presentation. And as you can see on the screen, my background is already incorporated, so I don't need to do anything with that. I have text here that with the left click of a button, I have complete control over here, just like inside of a word processor if I'm creating a PDF. Okay, so I could call this AHB Tech and Mac Mastermind. Okay. And then email marketing and list building for the presentation I'm going to do. And then when I'm done, I just left click, and that leaves me with this. And then just like inside of any word processing software, I can make changes to the text if I want to change the font. You'll see here that just with one click of the mouse and then left click and hold, which gives me the ability to highlight my text, this automatically opens the properties box here for me, so I can change this however I want. If I wanted to change the style of the font, which I do, because like I said, I'm kind of a creature of habit. I like the impact font. All right, and I can bold that if I want. I can italicize it. I can underline it however, I choose there. So I'm just going to choose to leave that as it is, and then I'm going to bump up the size of the text here, and I'm just doing that by clicking the drop down button and choosing a bigger number. Okay, I can also put my cursor in the box here and then use my keypad to type in a specific size that I want. Not all software will allow you to do that, but most word processing softwares or presentation-based softwares are, comprehensive enough to give you the ability to get way more creative than maybe some of the other online applications that you've used. Like, I'll give you an example, ClickFunnels. They've actually made some changes inside of ClickFunnels that I've actually been learning this afternoon as I'm building the marketing pages for the Deerfield event. And I noticed that they had done some things that, for me, I thought made something that was easier before a little bit more complicated now. I mean, nothing too off the wall, but it's a very technical piece of software. But the same thing applies to that as it does with this or anything else. You don't have to know everything about the thing in order for it to work. Okay, I don't need to know how to break down and rebuild the engine in my car in order to go out and drive it to the store and get groceries. Okay, I don't need to know that. I don't need to know, how the engine works. I don't need to know how many cylinders are in there and how those cylinders work, in conjunction with the head of the engine and the spark plugs and all that good stuff to create the combustion that gives us the energy to move forward. Okay. Again, a lot of marketers kind of get into that space in their head where they think they need to know all these things. And the truth of the matter is you just don't. You need to know enough to get you where you want to go. And then as you go, start experimenting with some of the other settings and stuff like that within the software. But I mean, you can see right here, what I've done is just very simple and basic. And with a couple clicks of the mouse, I've been able to set up, the first page of my presentation, and then if I wanted to, add presented by Rex Harris. Okay. It's that simple to set this stuff up. Okay. And then down here, we could call this process 1, set up autoresponder. Okay. And then again, anything here that I want to change font-wise, which I do, I just choose the font that I want to use, and there it is. Okay. I'm going to change the color of that. That's easy. Okay. Again, left click, hold, drag your mouse over here, and then you're going to have your color palette right here. You see that big capital A, and all you got to do is mouse over these things, and they'll tell you what they are. And if you're looking for font color, I mean, mouse over it, boom, you can see it pops up, font color there. I click the drop down button, all right? I choose the color that I want, left click, done. Just like that. All right. If I want to make that font a little bit smaller, which I do, okay. And then I obviously want the branding in there. So I can add that. And then if I wanted to bold the branding there and then change the color, I can do that. And just like that, page 1 is done. All right, as far as text is concerned. I can add images to this the same way I add images to a PDF, all right? Something that's also very important as you work and begin to build your presentation, all right? Save your work as you go, because this is gonna save you a lot of heartache in the future. So what I usually do is create folders on my desks or on my desktop, you know, that are that it is I'm doing. So here I've got like Academy of Home Business, and then here I've got AHB Tech and Mech. So I would open that folder, and I would just call this right now in the design phase PowerPoint presentation. All right, then I click save. So now my work is saved. All right. So if the power should go out, which, you know, on my laptop wouldn't be any big deal, but on this computer, if I'm working along and, you know, the way the weather's been lately and the power goes out, boom, there goes all my work if I'm not saving as I go. All right, so make sure that you do that. I actually want to make that a little bit darker. That to me is just a little bit pale. So I'm going to go with a little bit darker and orange there. Yeah, much better. That really pops. It doesn't, you don't have to strain your eyes to see it. And that's what you really want to do. You don't want to, you want to make sure that your colors jump so people don't have to strain their eyes to see them. Okay. Now let's say that I wanted to add an image into the front page of the presentation. Okay. What I could do here, and you'll notice I'm just keeping everything simple, centered, and basic. Okay. So you guys can actually go in here and do this stuff. All right. All I got to do is hit my enter button on my keyboard a couple of times, and then I can go over to insert, which is up here in the menu in the upper left-hand side. If you look from the left, you'll see File, Edit, View, and then Insert. Okay. And then when you click that, you just go down to Picture, and then I would choose from File, pick an image from here on my computer to use. So I would go back to my desktop and maybe go into the Academy of Home Business here, and then find an image here. Let me look over in here that I want to use. Actually, I think it's on the other computer. But for now, I can just choose like one of these. All right, that's actually a large image. Probably a little bit bigger than I want. That's more like it. So now I can just click open. And that totally messed me up. I totally messed everything up. The heck, there we go. Let's try that again. Okay. One other thing here. If I want to take this stuff and slide it up, I can just double or click on any of my text here, and you'll see this blue line here shows up. All right, and I can actually move that up higher if I want, like that, which is going to be better if I'm adding a picture. Okay. I can actually rotate this box if I want to rotate it, you know, or I can shrink that box in if I want to shrink that box in. Okay. So this is just simple drag and drop basic stuff. All right, just to keep things nice and tidy. Okay. So let me show you that one more time here. I think I actually have to create a new cell is what I have to do. So let me see, this is a little bit different than, oh no, that should work. Okay, basically all I'm doing here is just creating a new little table. I do this in HTML all the time. You see what that did there? Okay, and it gave me another area to work in here. Okay, just like that. And it's got a cool blue background on it already. So now I can insert something in here if I want to insert a picture in there. Not sure where it went. Let me try that one more time. Yep. Not quite sure what's going on with that. I've never had that issue before. So, but this is how you learn it. This is how I learn stuff all the time. If I run into a snag, I just figure it out. You know, PowerPoint is something that I've actually ignored for quite some time. And since I started using it, I've really enjoyed using it. Okay. Now over here on the right-hand side here, you've got some cool things that you can utilize here too, like arrows and bullets and different background images, different computers and gadgets. Okay. And I can probably guess that based on the way most of these work is that I can probably just drag it and drop it right there. Okay. Just like that. And I can probably do the same thing with my images too. Let me see, do I have the option to import here? I can export, but I don't see a way to import here. So well, that one was too big. Let me try this one again. Okay. All right. See what that did there? So that's interesting. Basically, I chose an image from here, selected the image I wanted to use, and guess what happened? It brought it in here just like that. All right. So that actually makes it super easy. That's kind of a really cool super shortcut is that you can just basically change out any picture. I just have to figure out how to, there's got to be another way to do this. I'll have to pick on Laura or somebody or Sonia. Okay. Short. So let me walk you through that again. All right. I'd say I wanted to add an image here. All right. I went over here on the right-hand side to where it said gallery. And then I chose an image from in here. I bet that's where I can add an image right there. Oh, no, maybe not. All right, here we'll just choose one of these little peoples here. All right, this was just left click and hold, drag and drop. All right, and then I can resize this little person as I choose, just like so. All right, now what I did there, let's say that I want to change that image. All right, all I have to do is highlight this, go up here to insert picture from, choose the picture I want, which was this here, and that happened. So then it was just a matter of me stretching it out to get it to where it's right and centered through drag and drop. Just like that. All right. And then I could go back and add, you know, a couple of, just like that. All right. That takes pretty much no real mechanical know-how other than some basic functions to do what I just did. All right. And even I was able to stumble across a way to solve my own problem right here. You know, I know there's a better way to do it, and I'm going to find out what that better way is. But for now, guess what? It got the job done. All right. So that's why a lot of times I'll tell people, you know, people ask me, well, Rex, how do I do this and how do I do that? Well, if you actually gone in here and clicked on stuff and seen what it does, be like, no, well, why not? You know, I mean, when I was a kid, one of my favorite toys on the planet was erector sets, and the other one was Legos. And we would just sit down and build stuff and figure it out. I had a friend of mine when we were in school. The guy was just amazing. He would go and just rebuild radios and I mean, the kid was just a whiz at that type of thing. But that's what we did. You know, we tinkered. We played around with stuff. We figured out, you know, how it worked. We were very self-taught. A lot of us were, you know, because most of us hated school. So we were out learning different things. All right, so just like that, front page of my presentation is done. All right, so now I go up here and I click save. All right, and now it's time for me to add the second tile of my presentation. Okay, and to keep it really simple, all right, I can go over here, right click, and then select new slide, and boom, it opens up right there. So you guys can see how simple it is to come in here and actually create the presentation you can use without having to know 90% of this software. I mean, probably 95% of it. I've probably shown you about 5% of the total functionality. Maybe not even that. Maybe 1% of the total functionality of the software. And I was already able to create a page here with just basic knowledge for my presentation. Okay. So I'm going to continue on with the building process. We got some more time here. So in this case, then I would probably start with, because of the fact that I'm going to be opening with Aweber, would be how to create your first auto responder using Aweber. Okay. And if I don't like the way something is centered and stuff like that, I can just, oh, I don't want the bullet point there though. There we go. For those of you guys that don't know how to do that, all right, here's a cool little trick for those of you who are, you know, symmetrically anal like I am, I guess. At least that's what my wife says. You know, because a lot of times I don't like just 2 words on a second line. So if I wanted to move the word responder to the second line, all I do is I come up here, left click once, put my cursor there and hit my backspace key. Then I click shift on my keyboard and enter. And I can do that. And then I can go through and change my font back to whatever I want to change my font to. So in this, because I've got this open here, you know, I can switch back to my properties, you know, templates and stuff here, different effects that we might look at a couple of those tonight, just depending on time, outlines, background, stuff like that, images and buttons and arrows and all that good stuff. And then navigator here, which is basically the sequence for your slides. All right, so let's say you created 10 slides and you thought, oh man, maybe number 9 would be better where 8 is and 8 would be 9. I could just come in here and swap them right there. All right, just by knowing the basic function of this little menu on the right. Okay, and how do I figure that stuff out? I go in here and see what it does. I teach myself how it works, you know? So in this case, I'll go back here to the properties and then again, drop down button. We're gonna, you know, stay on point. All right, and I actually had this conversation with Sonia Davis last night. It was kind of funny, but it's very true. When you are creating content like this, okay, fonts are very much like clothing. Okay, there's just some clothing that doesn't go together. Okay, the same thing for fonts when you're creating stuff. All right, if you keep like a straight block font like an Impact or a Tahoma or a Verdana or Arial, Verdana is probably one of the most popular fonts in the marketing space, you know, then you're good. And then the other font that I like to use is I like to use the Georgia font. Okay, so I've got the Impact font that I use for my headlines, subheadlines, and stuff like that, and then the Georgia font that I usually utilize for the bulk of my content. You can see that even demonstrated on the front page of the Academy. Okay, so I want to turn those off. It's giving me automatic bullet points. So if I want to turn my bullet points off, okay, right here is what turns my bullet points on and off, right there. All right, and this will left, center, or right justify my cursor there as far as where I want my text to start. So now I would go back here because I'm going to start a new line. I would select the Georgia font, and obviously it's going to be much smaller, so I'll knock it down to about a 24 just so it's easier for you guys to see. Then I'm going to have to do that again because it messed up on me. No. And then for those of you that don't know this feature either, anytime you mess something up, you're thinking, eek, uh-oh, how do I fix that? Okay, edit, undo, and update this value. You want to install it now? No, I don't want to update it. I don't want to do that. Run the update right now. Thank you. Okay. So, and a lot of times too, depending on the software that you're using, you'll find that if you do a right click, you'll usually find an undo option in a lot of different softwares as well. Okay, so now if I'm going to change, you know, I can do this a couple different ways here. You know, if I just want to change the line that I'm on, obviously turn the bullet points off again. Okay, left justify my cursor. I can just start typing my text. Then let me see. Step one would be like create a Weber account, for example. All right. And I didn't want it to be, I wanted to change that. And I can do it this way too. Multiple ways to get something done. Okay, and then if I want to add the bullet back there, I can add the bullet back there, or I can center it, whatever. All right. Create a Weber account. Log in, you know. But the reason that I'm doing this like this is because when we do this live mastermind in Deerfield Beach in November, you know, this is what we're going to be doing with people. We're going to be sitting, you know, and working directly with them. They're going to have their computers. It's not going to be like just going to any other event and sitting and listening to speakers and stuff like that. They're actually going to come and there's going to be actual classes. You're going to have myself and Sonia Davis and Laura McCarthy there working with you. While one of us is teaching, the other two of us will be working the floor, basically looking over your shoulders, answering your questions and stuff like this as we actually go through and all of us work together. So at the end of the weekend, everybody has accomplished something. That's the objective with that, is that when you leave Sunday afternoon, you are leaving with something that you can start utilizing in your marketing efforts online the moment that you get home. Maybe it's going to be a marketing system that's ready to drive traffic to. Maybe it's going to be a WordPress blog that you've been wanting to set up but didn't know how. Okay, or maybe it's going to be setting up your Facebook for business and getting started with pay-per-click ads, or learning some of the graphic design stuff that Sonia Davis is going to be teaching. Okay, and all of that stuff will be out, God willing, tomorrow. We'll have all that stuff set up. I've been working on all this stuff all day, and I've probably got about another 4 or 5 hours ahead of me to get it all said and done. But when it's done, everybody will know exactly what we're going to be doing. And we're going to, starting in November, we're going to be doing these every 3 months. We're going to be doing these masterminds all over the United States because the demand for technical and mechanical training in the world of online marketing is huge. Most people don't understand how this stuff works, and that's why we are going in this direction, because it's going to fill a demand in the workspace that, you know, is not being met at a level that is being a benefit to a larger number of people. Okay, because quite honestly, and you've heard me say this before and you'll hear me say it again, all right, in order for people to truly excel, and I'm not talking about sitting at home on your computer making, you know, $1,000 to $1,500 a month. I'm talking about to truly excel in this workspace and master your craft and become an authority on your passion, whatever that is. Okay, well, it takes some know-how. All right, and it's either going to be your know-how or someone else's know-how that accomplishes the mechanics that need to be implemented to create the presence online that's going to get you moving forward into audiences that are going to be willing to buy stuff from you. That's what all of this is about. It's all about learning how to utilize the tools that you have and then transfer these tools to the internet for the purposes of attracting your audience and begin to help people solve problems, because once you start doing that, that's what they're going to start buying from you. Okay. So to get back on point with this, how to create your first autoresponder using Aweber, create a Aweber account, log in. Then I would begin to walk them step by step through some processes at this point, probably using screen sharing software, where I'll be actually sharing my computer screen up on a big computer screen where everybody can see it. They can see exactly what I'm doing on my computer. It's going to look identical on their computer because we're going to be using the same resources. Okay, we're going to be teaching specific resources that we utilize. You know, where it's not just about, you know, autoresponder marketing. It's about how to use a specific autoresponder, why we choose this autoresponder, you know, and if people want to take the information and apply it to the autoresponder that they want to use, that's great. And there's probably going to be people that come to this event that already have experience with an autoresponder, but they want to learn some other things. They want to learn the WordPress blog. They want to learn the Facebook pay-per-clicks. They want to learn the mechanics of that. Okay. So at this stage of the game here, there's a couple of different options that I could utilize in my presentation. Okay. Now here, I'm going to actually, I want to test something here. And as a quick refresher last week, can anybody remember how to find images that you want to utilize from the internet that are legal for you to use? Okay, go to images, go to search tools, go to usage rights, and then labeled for reuse. Okay, and like here's one that says I love Aweber. Okay, so what I'm curious about, I'm wondering if I can take an image like this, copy the image, come over here, and then paste an image in, and look at that. All right, this is the cool thing about the presentations, is, you know, I mean, this is so much easier to do than HTML. People have no idea unless they know HTML. This whole just drag and drop. I mean, I didn't need to save this and call. I mean, all I could do is just copy, paste, boom, and it goes in here, just like that. And you can see what adding just even one image like that does to your presentation. You know? So you can go through all the rigmarole that I went through here by replacing the little peoples there and just copy and paste the images that you want to use here. You know, if I wanted to do, I mean, let's say I'm working inside Aweber. I'm creating a training presentation. And I want to basically point people through a process of getting signed up. I can use Jing, which we've talked about on many a Hangout. And if you don't have Jing for the purposes of doing screen capture, okay, go to Google, all right, type in Jing, go to text, go to the first link here, and get Jing. It's free. Doesn't cost you anything to use this, and it's a marketer's best friend, especially when you're creating training videos and presentations, because if I want to point people in a specific direction, I mean, how easy is this? Okay, to find my little yellow sunbeam, and I just usually leave it right here at the top of my screen, and then if I click the button on the left, this is going to give me my ability to capture. So I just set the corner on where I want to capture, and then I drag and drop, and just slide around until I get the image that I want, okay? And then here, it says capture image, and then here all I have to do is copy that image. And I can paste it directly into my PowerPoint presentation. If I want to make any additions to this, like add an arrow, now I just did this the other day. I can do it in the software too. Now, why is that not working? I just used that the other day. It was phenomenal. Oh, there we go. I got to double click. That was the problem. There it is right there. Okay, I can create an arrow just like that. All right, let me do that for you one more time. All right, you just select what you want to use here, like in this case, the arrow. Double click. No, why is it not doing it now? Okay, okay. Click the arrow, left click and hold, and then drag the arrow. Okay, sometimes you just got to mess with it. Okay, left click and hold. Boom, arrow. All right, if I want to add text, or if I want to move the arrow to manage lists to point out something specific, I can do that right here, right with Jing. I can add text to this, same basic thing. All right, now when I'm adding text here, okay, this was click the T once, click in here once. All right, here I can choose my font again, same as most other word processing software. You know, it looks like most of the fonts on my computer are here. They're not alphabetized, but that's all right. I'll just choose one here real quick. And then if I want to add anything to this, let's say I wanted to add like, this is step 1, like that. Okay, and any of this is adjustable, just like that. All right. And then all I have to do here is click copy. And then I can come over here, choose where I want this to go in my presentation. Okay. Right click. Right. Right click and paste. There it is there. All right. And I can add this in here wherever I want to. I mean, you guys can see how easy it is. I could just whip out training after training and presentation after presentation, just knowing these basic steps. All right. And you even got to watch me fumble around in here tonight and even figure it out. Okay. Sometimes you just got to get in here and use this stuff and consistently use it so you get better at using it and learn how it works. That's the key to all of it right there. And don't be afraid to mess up on video. Lord knows I'm sure not afraid to mess up on video. If you can't figure something out, ask somebody or pick it apart. You know? But I mean, super easy to do. And then okay, just like this. And I can continue to add on to this, you know, click manage lists, you know, whatever it is, click drop down button. I mean, step-by-step instructions on whatever type of presentation it is that I need to create. All right. Then I might move that back over there and decide I want to make that huge. All right. Whatever I want to do. All right. Within reason, I can do it here. All right. And then again, file, save. Just like that. All right, so very basic, very simple, easy to get started. You guys could even use this to create your own incentives too. I mean, you create a presentation, put it together like this, put it into a video, and a lot of this stuff, for those of you that use Camtasia, it incorporates very well within Camtasia. And then when you're ready to preview how it looks, you can preview it in the web browser right there. Just like that. For some reason, my text didn't show up. Oh, it came. Oh, don't know why it did that. First page back, continue, text. No, that's not right. That's not what I'm looking for. Where's the preview I'm looking for? Preview or browser printer settings. Here we go. This is what I'm looking for, a slideshow. Just like that. Boom. There we are. And then click of the mouse. Okay. Navigator here if I want to go through and preview the different tiles. Okay, and then to see the actual slideshow, go up to slideshow, click slideshow. Just like that, there's my 2 slides. Boom. All right, and I have total manual control over this, right? Or I can automate this as well, okay? This is done bit with the click of a mouse button, the click of the space bar on my keyboard, just like that. I mean, look how nice that is, and look at how simple it was to do, all right? That's the importance of having a basic fundamental knowledge of these tools so you can actually go out and get something done with them. Okay, I don't need to know how this entire thing works in order to get a simple basic result. Okay, I didn't even have to save any images or anything. I was able to come in here and just build this completely from scratch just by copy and paste. Okay. So let me jump over here and see if anybody has any questions. Okay, let me see. Thought tonight was about keywords. Oh, that was before I changed it. Must be the second email went out late. Okay. All right, well, if nobody's got any questions, thank you guys for coming out tonight. Take advantage of this thing because, I mean, it's an amazing tool. You can do some really super cool things with it. And I'm sure it's not going to be very long before you can even incorporate PowerPoint into stuff like Blab, you know, because you can incorporate it into a lot of other things. And I mean, you can even screen share this stuff when you're doing a Google Hangout. It's a phenomenal tool to learn how to use. Okay. All right. So with that, we're going to wrap up for tonight. And then tomorrow night, I'm actually going to be doing another workshop this week because I have one more video that I need to get done. Like, sorry about that. I got them mixed around earlier today. I'll be doing the keyword one tomorrow night. All right. I just got them switched around today. So I think that covers it. All right. Didn't see anybody had any other questions. So with that, I will bid you guys adieu for this evening. And we will see you tomorrow night. And until then, God bless you. Bye for now.